Hi, my name's Ashton. Welcome to Pocket Theology. Pocket Theology discusses pocket-sized portions of various biblical topics. Each episode is designed to engage you, the listener, toward a deeper understanding and appreciation for God's Word. From doctrinal discussion to studying the theological themes of various biblical passages, join me, your pocket theologian, in discovering the practical side of theology. In recent years, there has been an increasing number of those who call themselves Exvangelicals. While a large number of these seem to stem from being attracted to any form of popular movement, in this episode, I want to invite you to join me in discussing what it looks like to effectively minister to those who have walked away from the faith. I feel a disclaimer should also be stated at the beginning of the episode. While I can understand why some people may leave the faith, especially in instances of abuse and hurt, I do not believe that any ex-evangelical made the right decision ultimately to walk away from the Lord. 2 Timothy 4 verse 10 says, "For Demas, having loved this present world, has deserted me and gone to Thessalonica. Crescens has gone to Galatia, Titus to Dalmatia." The ex-evangelical and deconstruction movements are nothing new, but it seems that many Christians are unaware of how to interact with those who claim to have left the faith. To be sure, there are those who, like Demas, did not truly count the cost of their faith and never truly had a relationship with Christ. For these we must pray that they realize that they were never truly a part of the very thing they claim to have turned from. This rejection often seems to be founded on the lie that the Christian life is not one worth living, even though they do not have the personal experience to speak on the matter. Considering all these things, in this episode, I want to invite you to consider why so many have left their faith and how we as Christians can love on these people. In a world of many different religions, there is only one that leads to true life and peace. My hope is that we do not treat people in such a way that we leave a bad taste in their mouth toward this faith. Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16 says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has become tasteless, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." As Christians, the way we live and the words we say matter. For example, how can anyone glorify God when so-called Christians spam the comments of deconstruction social media posts with spiteful messages attacking the person who posted? Too often I see Christians attempting to call out as false teachers those who have left the faith. While there are certainly those who seek to mislead individuals, I have also seen many ex-evangelicals crediting church hurt and even abusive systems as their reason for leaving the faith. While there are illegitimate excuses in some instances, many are very factual claims. Yet for some reason, those who claim to be Christians will attack those who have already been hurt by the church. This is not to say that we should not call out sin, but why does it seem more Christians are upset with ex-evangelicals than they are the religious systems that pushed these same people away? While it is not all Christians, I see many who would be better off becoming tasteless salt so that they do not leave a bitter taste in others' mouths. In considering this topic, I was reminded of Job's three friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. Job 2, verses 12 through 13 says, When they lifted up their eyes at a distance and did not recognize him, they raised their voices and wept. And each of them tore his robe, and they threw dust over their heads toward the sky. Then they sat down on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights, with no one speaking a word to him, for they saw that his pain was very great. While they started out well, these friends caused a lot of grief because rather than recognizing the hurt their friend was in, they began to mock his character by their words. Chapter after chapter of the book of Job focuses on the interaction of Job and his 3 friends. They accuse Job of many false things, even attacking his character based on unfounded allegations. The same is true of those who hatefully attack Exvangelicals. They would do well to be silent instead. The purpose of this episode is not that Christians would never disagree with or hold accountable those who publicize their deconstruction journey. However, what I believe Christians should take an active role in is listening. As they hear the stories of those who have been hurt, Christians should seek to hold accountable ministries that have hurt people. There will certainly be times in which nothing can be done, and even some in which false accusations are made against legitimate ministries. However, we as Christians must seek to ensure checks and balances are being enacted so that ministries will no longer be a source of hurt and abusive systems. Steps must also be taken to ensure that those who have caused hurt seek resolution as much as possible. Romans 13, verses 8 through 10 says, "Owe nothing to anyone except to love one another, for he who loves his neighbor has fulfilled the law. For this, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet. And if there is any other commandment, it is summed up in this saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law." Ultimately, Christians must look for ways that we may love those who have left their faith. We should seek opportunities to have conversations with these individuals and to gain an understanding about the why behind their decision. While there will continue to be some who leave the faith, it should never be without the prayer-filled and lovingly concerned words of Christians in their lives.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Pocket Theology. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe to keep up with the show. We greatly appreciate the support you give by listening. If you think more people should hear this podcast, consider leaving a 5-star review. If you have a question for Ashton or an idea you would like to hear on the show, you can email him directly at AskPocketTheology@gmail.com. Ashton is a passionate student and teacher of God's Word. He has a Bachelor of Science in Biblical Studies from Moody Bible Institute.